Welcome to Disturb South. Please note before proceeding in watching this video, all comments made in this video is my own.
And my own as well.
And so please, viewer discretion is advised. Today we will be covering the case of Hendri Van Breda and the brutal and gruesome murder of his entire family except for one surviving victim. And his victims who unfortunately did not survive includes.
And that was his father, Martin. He was 55, and his mother, Teresa, she was 54, and then his brother, Rudi, he was 23 at the time. His sister, Marli, she barely survived the attack, and she was 16 at the time.
So this is actually something that this poor girl is going to carry her whole life, regardless of the money that Henri used as inspiration to murder his family.
Exactly.
This will now be inherited by his poor sister of 16 years old, and no amount of money is gonna change what happened and how this affected her life.
Exactly, because she suffers from retrograde amnesia. She will never ever remember what really or what exactly happened that night on the 27th of January 2015. That must have been an horrific attack. She was 16 at the time.
She was in high school, for goodness sake.
Exactly.
I mean, so young. Her life barely started.
When I was 16, I was, I think, standard 9 or matric. I was 17 when I entered university. So she was still in school. The horrific events. And they just returned from Australia. They were living there for 8 years. Because Martin, he had a very successful property company in Australia, and when they came back to South Africa, they intended to have a nice, just relaxed come back to South Africa, their homeland. And then what happened? They were murdered by their son. We are not here to judge or anything.
Not at all. So this is our opinion, our point of view, and please do not take this as anything else but our view of this whole situation. This is purely our thoughts, and we are judging a little bit, unfortunately, but I just think when it comes to family murdering family, especially a son taking out or attempting to take out his whole family, is something that sparks this type of anger within you. And you think about the way he was raised, or all the kids for that matter. I mean, money was available. Money does not buy happiness. It makes life easier. But this dude had nothing to complain about. But still, the greed. And all of this for money. And thinking he was going to get away with this is, I think, what makes us so angry. And that's why we decided to do this video.
Exactly. Because when he claimed that he also was attacked by this axe-wielding man, a black man, as usual. You know, that's the easiest.
Exactly. That's so stereotyping. It's the easiest thing to blame it on.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think that's what sets, especially police and all the investigators off, was the fact that the murderer that he was blaming all of this on is so stereotypical. It just shows you what those stereotype people does to themselves. They just dig a deeper and deeper hole for themselves.
Exactly. And he also said that he was fighting off this, as I said previously, this axe-wielding man, and then he passed out. And what he did when he came to again was phoning his then girlfriend. She didn't answer, and then he passed out again. So And then after 3 hours, he found the emergency services.
3 hours. So first of all, the adrenaline, especially if you
Yep.
are innocent in a situation like this, your adrenaline levels are so high, especially it's your family. You would assume, he would have loved them, but obviously he did not. The adrenaline levels would have been so high, there's no way for him to pass out. So yet again, another very convenient excuse.
Very, very convenient. And what also, threw me was the fact when they played recording, when he found the emergency services, he was composed.
Calm.
Absolutely calm. He was not even.
You should
I can't
actually
explain it.
You should actually go and listen to that audio.
Yes, go and listen. You can Google it.
Yes, you would not think that's a person who just lost his entire family. Due to a crime. He was so calm, collected, obviously already, again, a dead giveaway.
What he said also, he told them that his sister, she was still moving. I mean, who on earth, if it was my sister, I would have been there with her. I would have tried my best to just try and save her. I would have been at her side. I would have been screaming,
hysterical.
Crying. Yes, I would have been hysterical. He was calm and collected. And what also, in court, he was able to, it was almost like a choreographed. He showed them exactly how the attacks took place.
He rehearsed all of this in his head, but I'm going to say this, and it's probably not appropriate to say this, but he is an absolute fucking lunatic. He really is.
I agree with you. You are my son. I mean, we are a close-knit family. We are a very close-knit family. And I can't even imagine, if you have to witness something like this. Your family is being hacked with an axe to death.
And I mean, it's your family. I mean, the amount of love between most families.
Yes.
You would do anything for your family members. But this guy, obviously, is a psycho. He feels nothing for anyone. And I mean, I don't think it just goes down to his family. I think he's just that type of person. He doesn't have any remorse for anyone or anything.
Yes, because what I've read is when you are using a tick, because that's what the suggestions were, that he was addicted to tick, it can change your
personality, perception.
Yes, even your whole chemical composition. It can change that.
But the thing is, the argument that I'm thinking now is it purely just because of the drugs, or was it always there and the drugs maybe just enhanced it? And just before, if you don't know what tick is, especially for international viewers,
yes.
Everyone in South Africa is very familiar with that drug called tick. It is spelled TIK.
Yes.
So go Google that. It's, in comparison, you can take heroin times 10, and that's the result you get when a person uses this drug called tick.
Yes, tick is a quite a dangerous drug to take, because we also had a case in South Africa where a mother, she killed her own son because he was addicted to tick, and he was abusing her. He was selling all that they had just to get hold of tick. And okay, what I'm going to say is this, that it's only suggestions that Henri van Breda was addicted to tick. Because there was no drugs found in his blood at the night of the murders. I think what happened, because they also suggest that his parents, they were threatening him to cut off his allowance, because they were quite a wealthy family.
So maybe it was the desperation of him being clean for like maybe a few days or weeks, and I think the craving maybe got so bad that he resorted to doing this.
Yes, and I know, I mean, because being in a wealthy, you are used to wealth, and suddenly your parents threaten to cut off your allowance. I think that can, maybe you can resort to.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have an effect,
Yeah.
most definitely. And I
Yes.
mean, drug is nothing to play around with. I mean, especially anyone having, dependency on drugs. It depends on the situation you're in, and I mean, I do sympathize with people. Some people having that addiction, and it's because of the circumstances they are going through, and sometimes they do resort to really, really terrible stuff in order just to get that high. But I think Henri took it to a whole new level. For me, I think the finances was there in order to get this guy clean. I think his parents tried whatever they could in order to help him.
He did attend a rehabilitation centre in Bellville, a very expensive rehabilitation centre, and
unfortunately did not help the situation. And that's why we are sitting here discussing this horrific tragedy that happened to a completely innocent family who loved their son and just wanted to help him.
yes, and they were a loving, well, even Martin's brother, Andre, I think Andre, he said they were a loving family. Also, what got to me really bad was the paramedic. He was in service for 39 years, and he said when he got to the scene, it was in his 39 years of service, he has never seen such a bloody and absolutely terrible scene. When they moved, according to him, when they started to move the bodies, I mean, the blood was flowing down the stairs like a waterfall.
And that's his family members.
Yeah.
I think that's the fact that makes it so much worse, is this was the people that loved him so much. They would have done anything, and actually they did everything they can for him.
Yeah.
And he did this with an axe.
An axe and a knife.
And the knife. And you can actually go and Google those pictures. I do not recommend this for any viewers sensitive to stuff like this. Do so at your own discretion. Go have a look at those murder weapons. There's no way, I mean, I don't think, well, obviously we can't put ourselves in a position where we would even think about doing something like this. Henri obviously did.
Yes, he did. And the judge who presided over the court case, he just told everyone, the press included, no pictures of the crime scenes were to be
Distributed.
Published or distributed. But they did show some of the, the steps. There were, you could see the blood. You could see his mom's handbag still standing there. Nothing was stolen. You could see there was still an Apple laptop there.
So obviously it was never a robbery.
It was never robbery. There was absolutely no robbery involved. So, and that is what makes it so
gruesome and unjustifiable, actually.
Yeah. So, and they tried to, the defense for Henri was started, but it wasn't, because the security, they confirmed it was fixed at the time of the murders. So that one they also lost.
All of this was planned out from the beginning.
Yes.
And I think the fact that makes us angry, and I think the rest of the people who knows about this case, is the fact that he actually brings into question everybody's intelligence. And to think he was going to get away with this, inherit all the money in order to spend it on the specific drug tick. And he's going to be rich and just living off his lifestyle that he was maintaining through using this type of drug.
Well, that didn't happen because also that what the defence tried was to tell that everyone that the domestic worker, the dog didn't trust anyone.
Besides the family members.
Yes,
yeah.
and Henry's defence team was that, no, she was playing with Sasha. It was their dog's name. Sasha. She was playing with the dog. That's why she got so excited. No, Sasha barked at every stranger. And that night, Sasha didn't bark. When the murders took place, Sasha didn't bark.
How convenient for you, Henry.
Yeah. So, and as I said, his mom's handbag was standing there. There were, I mean, obviously cash.
Nothing, yeah, well, did he take the cash?
Nothing was taken.
Wow.
Not even the Apple
so he was
laptop
purely
was taken.
basically focusing on the money he was going to inherit because of all of this.
Yes, because they were a very wealthy family, and he was actually, well, as I said, there wasn't any drugs in his blood when he was arrested.
Because obviously he was forced to come clean,
Yeah.
to get his system clean. But I mean, obviously the craving, it just actually built up, and he was waiting until he was clean in order to commit these crimes
And
or
another
to start
thing-
using again.
And another thing that the weapons that were used was the axe, and there was a knife used as well. And the domestic worker, she claimed that was identical.
To what was in the house, and she was familiar
Yes.
with it. Obviously, because
She
she
was
was
familiar,
there,
yeah.
she worked there on a regular basis.
Yes,
So I'm
absolutely.
so glad that there was all these witnesses, especially with the domestic worker,
Yeah.
being able to identify these objects being used in the murder. So that was our case study about Henry. And still, I think, Henry, you're an absolute idiot. I can't even actually imagine you thought you were going to get away with this. But you did not. Justice was served, and I'm so happy. You will be spending the rest of your life in jail where you belong. But guys, thank you for watching our video.
And I agree with Rian absolutely. And I just feel sorry for his sister. A big part of her life has been taken from her.
And our condolences go out to her.
Yes.
Definitely.
To her and to her family. And he has family that is supporting him. And nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And he's got a girlfriend who doesn't
Defends him.
believe. Yeah, she absolutely defends him. She doesn't believe that he was even capable of doing these things. But this is not the first case of someone murdering his family. This is not the first case. We will be covering the next one as well.
There's a lot, and
Yeah.
like I said, we specialize in crimes within South Africa. Be on the lookout for more videos to come.
Yes,
We will
yes.
be uploading on a regular basis. I hope you guys look forward to that, and I can't wait for us to film the next video. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Rian, this is my mom,
Marianne.
and we will see you guys in our next video.
And please support us,
Subscribe.
subscribe, and tick the like button.
There we go.
Okay.
Until next time, guys.
You go.